wash any of you.
In today's video, Tyler and I bring you guys a 2023 Toyota Supra GR in the 6-speed manual, Nitro yellow. God, man, what a beauty. This car is so sick. And no, I don't want to hear any BMW jokes, whatever. Yeah, it's got the B58, but the B58 motor is going to be the new modern day 2J. You can't tell me it's not. Anyways, this thing is in for the works. We're going to wash, fully decontaminate it, go ahead and do a full body PPF with Tyler, and then go through, make sure the wheels are coated, calipers are coated, pretty much everything to get this car prepped and ready for the streets, because with a downpipe on order and a couple other odds and ends, the owner definitely plans on driving this car. All in all, just an amazing vehicle. We did have an issue with this thing, but I will go over it at the end of the video for you guys because it was quite the learning experience. Otherwise, I hope you guys enjoy the video. We're actually washing this thing inside of Tyler's shop, which just made for some awesome camera work. So sit back, relax, we're gonna get these wheels nice and cleaned up to kick things off. The soap we're going to be using for both hand washing as well as the foam can is going to be Stoner Car Care Ceramic Prep Wash, and this is going to make sure that any kind of wash and wax or spray sealants that might have been put on by the dealership are stripped off. I also used about 1.5 ounces to 2 ounces worth of the soap in my foam can and topped it off with water, just because with this car I want the foam to be a little runny. A lot of times thicker foam is good whenever you want a product to really dwell on the surface and eat away at some grime, but with this we want it to be runny so any kind of standing dirt that's sitting on the paint can kind of run off with the foam and allow for a safer, more effective hand wash because this is new paint. Using the ever so soft detail brush here is pretty important, especially on a PPF job, because if the crevices and edges aren't nice and cleaned up and stripped of any kind of wax or sealants, it might be pretty hard to wrap an edge and have that PPF adhere to the paint. So we want to make sure to be very thorough with that, and we're using the ever so soft one because this is newer paint. We want to use something a little more gentle that isn't going to scratch it up like a boar's hair detail brush might. Other than a clay bar, the hand washing section is going to be one of the more important aspects of a prep detail for PPF. This is the part that's going to allow that ceramic prep wash soap to do its job thoroughly without any issues, as well as make sure the paint is completely clean, so whenever I come through and do a decontamination step later on with a clay bar, there's not going to be any standing dirt to damage the paint in any way.
Moving things on to the next day, we're going to be starting things off with some toothpick rework, as Jim from White Details has called it. This is when we're going to take a microfiber towel and spray it with our isopropyl alcohol mixture, and then take a cocktail stick, go through all the crevices to make sure everything is squeaky clean. This is extremely important, especially with us doing a full body PPF here, where the edges are going to be wrapped. How would you rate the install?
I mean, it could have been easier.
Watching PPF get installed in real time is 100% one of the most satisfying things you could ask for. And not just that, but someone like me, I just think it's super cool to watch it start from one panel and then expand to the entirety of the vehicle. Alright, so we're probably like day 2 or day 3 into doing the Supra. Tyler over here, he's doing all these things and I'm recording him as we go along. And then today we're gonna try to smash out the hood as well as the roof, because the hood, that is a massive piece of film. Absolutely massive. PPF has been something I have been really wanting to get into, especially being on this side of the automotive industry where we're focusing on paint protection. I've just never had the means or the ability to really get into it. Granted, I know a lot of people here in Central Florida who do this sort of thing, but Tyler is actually one of the first people I've actually met who have been willing to teach me. My hope and dream with PPF is to be able to do my own cars, but then to come into Tyler's shop and work on really sick cars like you see here, and then pull out the camera, get some footage of it, and share it with you guys. All I see from learning PPF is a massive benefit with a big side of fun. And if you're interested in PPF stuff, yes, as we go throughout the future, I will have more jobs like this with Tyler. But honestly, go check out his channel, it's linked down below. The man is just really good at what he does, and I love coming in to help him film videos, and I learn so much. And sometimes I even catch him learning something from me, which is really cool because we could bounce off each other like that. Guys, this little tape here that Tyler has is actually really cool. It kind of takes the trim and bends it just the slightest bit over, so that way whenever he goes to trim it, it's not going to have any chance of that blade getting into the trim pieces or cutting into it or cutting anything in particular. It's just straight. Really cool. Working the bumpers today, I'm going to be yoinking off the wheels and ceramic coating the wheels.
Before we talk about the coating, I just have to say, these new Supras are coming out with some really awesome looking wheels from factory. And not just Supras, but like BMWs, Audis, all these different cars are coming out with some really solid wheels from factory. We are no longer in the era where everything just looks like crap. Anyways, we're gonna get these things off, wipe them down with IPA, coat them with Geon's Q2 rim, buff them out, rinse and repeat, same stuff on the calipers. Pretty standard procedure. Now a lot of you might be wondering why I did not take the wheels off and clean them. Why did I clean them during the detail portion? And it's really not that big of a deal. This car had 60 or so miles on it, and whenever I was doing the detailing, I might as well have just cleaned them then, because when I pull them off, it just needs an IPA wiped out and they're clean. There was nothing like crazy embedded contaminant, so doing what I did during the detailing portion was more than enough. I just had to wipe them down and we're good to go.
Very important to understand whenever you get done putting wheels back on that you just coated, that if it is in the air for a while, just remember when it's back on the ground, you take a torque wrench and you look up the torque specs.
Like I said from the get-go, they just transform the look of the wheels. Especially after the coating got to cure after a solid amount of time, it just was fantastic. It had this beautiful type of sheen to it, almost like a gloss, but you can't really get gloss out of satin. Later on, we went ahead and treated the tires with Terminator from Stoner Car Care. Link is in the description below if you want to treat your tires with that prior to putting dressing on it. And once we did that, it just brought everything together. You just gotta wait towards the end so you can see it. Touching on the topic of PPF one last time, it's important to note that this entire vehicle was PPF'd with XPEL's Fusion Plus, which is their ceramic infused PPF. Really cool technology, but the only problem here is that they only come in certain size rolls, and as for the Supra, well, it just so happens that this thing has a massive hood. Because of that, we had to use a very large normal piece of XPEL film, so I went through with XPEL's Fusion Plus, which is XPEL's ceramic coating. So because we couldn't get a hold of their ceramic infused film, we wanted to make sure that the hood was just as protected with ceramic as the rest of the car. We ran into a hiccup, and because I don't hide anything on this channel, because I think people can always learn from it, whether you're in the field or not, we kind of had an issue with the battery, so let's talk real quick. So Tyler ended up leaving the doors open overnight, which obviously is going to make the battery drain, and it did. It didn't die all the way. We actually put a battery tender up to it and had it charge back up like normal, but we're running into the case of replaced battery being on the dash and a window regulator not operating right now. Essentially what happens here is the battery gets down pretty low and the modules start shutting off one by one. For example, the window regulator modules started to shut down because the battery is going dead. And although this has a JDM badge on it and it has a JDM name, it's the meme with the Supra. It's actually a BMW. It has a B58 in it, which is a wonderful, beautiful motor. Thankfully, upstairs from me is Autoform and Thompson's Auto Clinic. They are a German performance shop, which is a big help in a situation like this because I called Tony, the guy who runs it, and said, hey, got this problem. Can you help me out? He's like, yeah, dude. Now, Tony did find out what the issue was, and that was that the battery needed to be re-registered to the car and to go ahead and clear the codes on all the modules. Now, originally he tried to do that with his universal reading tool, but that didn't work, so he ended up trying to go through his fancy BMW scan tools, and that didn't work either because this is a 2023 Supra, and because it's so new, it just was not available yet, or even an update or anything. So thankfully, the owner of the Supra is just an awesome guy. He completely understood all the stuff that was going down, no hard feelings, no nothing. He took it to the dealership, and that's where things just went south. But what needed to happen here was a very simple readaptation of the battery to the ECU, and then clear all the module codes, so that way the window regulators and everything would be reset back to normal. Pretty standard, would have taken Tony maybe 10 minutes if he had an updated firmware. But when we took it to the local Toyota dealership here in, I'm not gonna say it, here in Central Florida, they didn't do that. In fact, we had the runaround for maybe a week and a half of them saying, oh, we scanned the car and we found this. Oh, well, actually we can scan the car because we don't have that new tool, and then all of a sudden they do have it, and there's all of this crap. And it started with them saying, oh, you got the car tinted, so that fried the ECU or something, it's gonna be $20,000. I cannot even bring to words the crap they tried to shove down this guy's throat. Especially whenever he was given information from Tony and me about what the problem was. He understands that. He knows exactly what he's looking for and exactly what he's wanting to have done. And the dealership can't even do that because they're too focused on, oh, new Supra, he has money. And that just pissed me off to a new level, because imagine if this owner of the Supra was a standard individual without a lick of car knowledge, even the most basic of car knowledge. They would have screwed him. They would have tried to screw him, I should say. That's wild. That is completely wild, and that's what makes it, being someone who is a genuine car person. I love cars, and I love the car community. That sort of crooked crap pisses me off to no end. It turned into a much bigger ordeal than it ever needed to be, so this was a learning experience for everyone. For those of you who might have a Supra, especially a newer one, and you want to know what resolved the issue for us, it was actually the car, after about a week and a half or so of being BS'd around the dealership, went back to the owner. It just readapted itself. Just fixed itself, everything went away. So that brings us to the end of this video. Guys, if you enjoyed it, please show me by leaving a like, and if you like car content, go ahead and press subscribe and ring that bell to know every single time I upload. Even now, it's been maybe a month or two later, I'm still pissed about it. I am still livid about that crap. But life goes on, what can you do? Hope you guys have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you in the next video. I gotta wrap this one up, so I gotta finish the editing. See ya. I have you sitting on a shoebox.
Bye.